What's happening, everyone? Welcome to this nighttime edition of the 2-Minute AI Tips. Let's get right into it. So today we're going to be talking about the HedoMystic podcast. A friend of mine reached out to me and said that she wanted some help with her art for the new podcast, and she wasn't comfortable with just DALL-E. So we took a call, and about 90 minutes with discovery and all, I generated a logo that she ended up going with. Here you can see what she created with Canva. I kind of like it, but I'm guessing all these assets are stock images, so elsewhere in the world, there's people using the same thing in the identity that she's trying to get across for her brand. It also isn't really saying a lot. So the first thing I did was spin her up a GPT. Essentially, I just talked to her for a few minutes about what she was trying to get across. I copy and pasted this in, and then kicked off the GPT, and that was it, just to have. Then chatting with her, we were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to come up with? What's actually the subject matter of this conscious Old World Meets New World podcast? So instead of just sitting in between us, I asked ChatGPT. What we started with was integration of the 4 elements, and instead of golden ratio or Fibonacci sequence, I decided to go with sacred geometry. So here I asked for that, and we're off to the races. We're already on to something. I feel like I could listen to this podcast, but obviously we're not going to stop there. Now we're getting creative. I just asked it to be more abstract. Let's just see where it can take us. Here she was asking for the elemental symbols, and I asked it to be more iconic because it was giving me kind of a written response. I chose the word iconic because it was both, I want it to be more like icons, but also, more iconic. And, I think that it would kind of mix that word in its meaning. So after talking with the client, I asked her what she did and didn't like, and the only thing she really didn't like was this border. So we asked for no border. I liked where that was going, but then I asked her a couple more questions, and some of the themes she was going to be talking about was circadian rhythm, kindness, and neuroendocrinology. If I'm being honest, I hated this one. So much so that I told her to do an awful job and try again. To my surprise, I think it made something really cool. Here I told her I like the style, let's make the subject matter a brain. I thought this one was really cool. This one actually came in second place. Here we asked it for a more abstract brain, and this one ended up being the winner. So now it came down to the logo. I've studied a lot of typography in my life, and I really felt that this needed more of a handwritten font than just a static font that you would find on one of the websites. Here was the first attempt. Here's the second attempt. I asked it to make it larger. Here I wanted to just focus on the letter forms. Now I ask it to think Jessica Hish. Shout out Jessica Hish, you're an amazing hand letterer, and I respect you, I'm sorry. Here I hit it with just again. I felt this one was getting just too far out. It's almost unrecognizable. I wanted to kind of ground it next. I asked it for a more standard typeface like Baskerville. Immediately it's becoming more legible. Let's just rapid fire some iterations. We got this one. We got this one. Loving this. This one would have been my logo, but we're missing the S. Kind of cool. I like it. A little too corporate. Cool, but wrong. And just as I was about to give up, it nails it. I think this font is absolutely perfect, a nice bold condensed typeface, which will make for a nice big letter form on the thumbnail of the podcast. So this is great, but we can't use it yet, so we're going to use some good old-fashioned Photoshop to straighten it out. Here we have it in Photoshop. Bring out the canvas a little bit. We're going to make the selection and go into free transform mode. And now using the warp setting and a couple rulers, I managed to straighten it out. This is great, but we still need to vectorize it. When I pulled it into Illustrator the first time and just tried to live trace it, I got some kind of weird things. I think that it lost some of the detail because of how small the image was. You can see some really nice serifs here that kind of got lost in translation. So next I came over here to old Crea AI. Crea is such a cool tool, but one of my favorite things is its AI ability to blow things up. So I took it in here, made it 4x, and then when I generated it, now you can see the difference between a nice crisp large logo and the one we had before. Now when I pull this into Illustrator, all the serifs are maintained, and we have a lot closer to the form we were looking for. Now we just mix two together. We have the art from before, adding a little color over the top so the white pops out, and the HedoMystic podcast is born. Now not only have you generated hundreds of dollars worth of art, it doesn't have to stop there. Every episode can have a new cover, with every piece on brand and on topic. Pretty cool, right? Now, I hope I've convinced you that AI art is cool. But more importantly, I want you to be empowered to use this yourself. My friend came to me because she was intimidated by all the prompting, and I really want to get across to people that the best computer programming language these days is English. So jump in. Chat with you next time.